Happy New Year, everyone, from Fern Tree Shondo. I'm back in the kitchen for episode 12, Black-Eyed Peas. I want everyone to have a positive and prosperous start to the year. Let me show you my ingredients. Of course, I've got olive oil. I have 12 ounces of black-eyed peas. I've got spinach leaves. I have green onion, 2 glasses of water. I have 1 whole teaspoon of butter. I have a half teaspoon of sea salt. And of course, I've got my pan here. Now the first thing that I'm gonna do here, and you already know how I do it, I'm gonna take my olive oil, put a little bit of it on a piece of paper, and I'm gonna go ahead and oil my pan. And the reason why it's important to do this, of course, is you wanna make sure that your black-eyed peas don't stick to the pan as they cook. So it's always good to oil it. You don't have to overdo it. You just want to wipe around the perimeter and on the inside of the pan. I'm going to sit that on the stove here. Now the next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and put my black-eyed peas in the pan. So we've got those in. I'm gonna take 1 of my glasses of water, pour it in. Now this second glass of water I have is basically reserved just in case this water boils down and we still need some extra cooking time. At least I've got another glass of water here to help us out with that. I'm gonna go ahead and turn my aisle on. I'm gonna put it on 8. And that's gonna allow it to really start boiling pretty quickly. And then as it boils, we're gonna go ahead and add everything as we go. I'll go ahead and get that started first though. And now I'm gonna come back over here. First, I'm going to cut my spinach. Now, I'm not going to cut all of it because what I'm actually going to do is take a couple of leaves of this spinach and put it in the bottom of my bowl when I actually serve. So let me take the couple of the biggest leaves and set those to the side because I'm going to use those. So I'll just take these two, set those to the side here. I'm going to take the rest of this and I'm just going to I'm not gonna finely chop it. I'm just gonna kind of chop it into maybe decent sized pieces, small pieces, but not too small. And you know it's the new year, so you gotta start off with some black-eyed peas. And I know everybody may not know, but there's definitely a history behind black-eyed peas and New Year's. There's a few different stories to it. The main one that I know has to do with African Americans during the time of slavery and right around the time of the Emancipation Proclamation. There was some celebrating. The African Americans decided we're going to use black-eyed peas and celebrate the new year as a mark of freedom. So go ahead and do some research. You find a lot of different things about black-eyed peas throughout the history of people, and you know, it's interesting facts that you can find about it. That's just one fact that I gave you. You see I'm cutting these onions, right? These green onions are always easy to cut. And I love these because they always give you good flavor. They're definitely great to cook with. And as I always say, they're not really strong, but they bring a flavor and an aroma to your dish. It's definitely going to bring a little bit of flavor kick to these black-eyed peas that I'm putting together. And I'm just chopping them into manageable pieces. So we got our spinach chopped, we got our onions chopped. And now we're gonna go ahead and work with the black-eyed peas that's on the stove. Now you can see they're really boiling now. They've been on for roughly probably around 5 minutes or so. You see that boil going? Yeah, they're boiling really good. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna like add the butter so that way we can get the smooth transition with that water boiling. And then we're gonna ease our way into the sea salt, and we're gonna add the chopped green onions. I'm saving that spinach though. I'm saving that. But check that boiling out. So I'm gonna come back around, get a little angle. And I'm gonna sit down and we're gonna put that butter on. So let's go ahead and get our butter going. Now, of course, I told you that I'm probably going to need this reserve glass of water that I have, because now these black-eyed peas are starting to boil pretty good. That water starting to soak into the black-eyed peas, and see how you got that boil going right there? And I still got it on 8. I'm going to keep it on 8 for probably another couple of minutes. Got my butter in. I'm just gonna scoop stir. Like, you know how you put the spoon under? It's like you scooping. And that way you don't have to worry about any of these black-eyed peas just coming out of the pan. The scoop stir is always better. And then you can go around the side just gently to make sure you're not getting any sticking on the sides. You know, it's boiling pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead and add a little bit more water. See, that calms it down a little bit. What you really want is you want to get the black-eyed peas saturated with that water, because essentially as the water boils, it's going to soak in and it's going to give you tender black-eyed peas, and that's what you want. Now, another thing I'll tell you is I soak these black-eyed peas for about an hour before we started cooking. So it's always good to soak them in water and kind of drain them and then put some more water in, let it sit. That way you're rinsing those beans off, then you basically putting them in water again and letting them sit for about an hour. And that helps you to not have to cook them so long. So right now we're probably coming up on like maybe 10 to 12 minutes in terms of the total cooking time. Of course, I'm time lapsing this video because I don't want you to have to wait that long for everything to get cooked. So the next thing I'm gonna do is put some of my onions in. So I'll bring my onions and spinach right here. I'm gonna go ahead and put some of my green onions in. Just sprinkle them around as I'm getting that boil. And see, the good thing about this is when that water's boiling and you're putting those green onions in, that's gonna also give you that aroma, and it's gonna add that flavor in. I haven't even put the salt in yet. I wanted to put some onions in here first before I put that salt in there. I'm gonna actually let it boil just for maybe another minute or so before I drop that salt in. I'm gonna go ahead and drop all my green onions in here first. Now I'm gonna go ahead and turn the temperature down. I'm gonna go ahead and turn it down to like 5 here. So 5's pretty good because that's gonna take it from like a high boil to like a medium boil, and then I can add a little bit more water. Just adding a little bit as I go. Get my spoon out. We're gonna stir a little bit, get those onions worked in. You know I gotta do the aroma test. Aroma test. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Told you those onions will bring it out. Now it's time to drop that half teaspoon of sea salt in. Now of course I'm gonna shake it around. Try to get some consistency with it. Spread it evenly. That sea salt. Now that's way better than that iodized salt. Definitely more healthy for you. So we're gonna go ahead and turn. We're gonna scoop stir. Try to scoop stir on the sides. Now at this point, I'm gonna add a little bit more water, and I'm gonna try to we're gonna try to get it to just simmer a little bit, to come from a boil to more of a simmer. So let me turn. I'm gonna go ahead and turn the temperature down to 3 at this point, and that way we're gonna get more of a simmer because they're basically about ready. Now you noticed I hadn't put that spinach on yet. But now I'm gonna work it into the mix. I'm gonna work that spinach in the mix. And this is gonna give us a nice flavor. That spinach with those green onions. And then the black-eyed peas, the flavor of those, along with that half teaspoon of sea salt and that whole teaspoon of butter. You can use any type of butter, whatever butter you like. I like I can't believe it's not butter, it's vegan. That's what I use. So we're gonna let this simmer for probably about 5 minutes. And you see I didn't use all of my spinach. You know what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna top it with some spinach when I put it in the bowl. And as I said earlier, I'm gonna use these 2 leaves of spinach on the bottom of my bowl. So we're gonna let it simmer for about another 5 minutes, and that would bring the total cook time to probably somewhere around 20 minutes to 25 minutes. And like as I said, you know, you want to start right around 8 to get that boil going. I'm gonna say that's gonna be your first 10 minutes, but you got to keep adding water because you don't want the peas to stick. And then you want to go down to 5. Once you get past the 10-minute mark, drop it down to 5 for probably about 5 to 7 minutes. Then you're gonna go down to 3. That's gonna be your simmer for another 5 to 7 minutes. And then you're looking at a total of about 25 minutes or so. Should work for you. So I'm gonna time lapse it, and then we're gonna be back. So I've let my black-eyed peas simmer on 3 for a total of about 7 minutes. So now I'm gonna go ahead and turn my stove off. And now we're ready to plate our black-eyed peas for New Year's. So what I'm gonna do first is I'm going to put my 2 spinach leaves on the bottom of the bowl here. And then I'm going to go ahead and put me some black-eyed peas in my bowl. Oh, it smells great. And I'm talking about they're really tender, and that's exactly how you want them. You want that tenderness on there, you see that? Then we're gonna put a little spinach on top, just to top it off. Black-eyed peas for the new year. Now, of course, it's time for me to do my 22 dance step before I eat this, right? So that's that black-eyed peas for the new year. It's great. It's hot. I can taste that spinach. I can taste the green onions. Perfect balance with the sea salt. Woo! It's 22. Happy New Year. All my subscribers, thank you so much. Episode 12, Black-Eyed Peas for the new year.